Good morning. I am Dr. Prabhakar. In the video, we are going to discuss about the neural regulation of the respiration. This is the vast topic, but in this video, we briefly discuss about the neural regulation of the respiration. It will be helpful to your examination. Voluntarily, we can control the respiration. The voluntary control is regulated by the cerebral cortex through the corticospinal tract to the respiratory motor neuron. It bypassing the medulla, it is not passing through the medulla. But mostly respiration is the automatic. We are not aware of the respiration. That is control, automatic control is mainly controlled by the pons and medulla. All respiratory centers are bilaterally represented in the pons and medulla. Location of respiratory centers. This is the medulla, this is the pons. Medullary respiratory centers. Inspiratory area located in the dorsal respiratory groups. This is expiratory area located in the ventral respiratory group of neurons. Pontine centers, pneumotaxic center located in the upper pons. This is the pneumotaxic center. Apneustic center located in the lower pons. So you go to draw the diagram for the examination. Rhythmic pattern of the respiration is generated from the medulla, that is called as the central pattern generator for respiration, that is called as the pre-Portsinger complex. This is the pre-Portsinger complex. This is located in between the lateral reticular nucleus. This is the lateral reticular nucleus and nucleus ambiguous. In between the lateral reticular nucleus ambiguous, the pre-Portsinger complex is located. This is responsible for spontaneous rhythmic respiration. So it is also closely associated with the nucleus of the 12th cranial nerve and nucleus of the 5th cranial nerve, also located in the same spinal cord, the cross section of the medulla. Dorsal respiratory group of neurons located within the nucleus tractus solitarius of the medulla. It contains the inspiratory neurons having the intrinsic activity. During the inspiration, the activity of the inspiratory neuron increases for the 2 seconds, then terminate abruptly. It is responsible for the automatic, involuntary, basic rhythm of respiration. Dorsal respiratory group of neurons also regulated by the apneustic center and pneumotaxic center. Ventral respiratory group of neurons located in the nucleus ambiguous and retroambiguous region. This is the ventral respiratory group of neurons. It is neurons not active during the normal inspiration or expiration. It is active during the forceful expiration, mainly forceful expiration. So normal expiration is the passive process. So it is active during the forceful expiration and deep inspiration. Important in providing the powerful expiratory signals to the accessory muscles of the expiration when there is need for the high level of the ventilation. So it is mainly control the forceful expiration. Apneustic center is located in the lower pons. Apneusis means prolonged inspiration. It is inhibited by the pneumotaxic center. The apneustic center is inhibited by the pneumotaxic center by the vagus nerve. The stimulation of the apneustic center produces the deep inspiration and prolonged inspiratory effect. Pneumotaxic center is located in the upper pons, in the nucleus parabrachialis. It is responsible for the control the inspiration. So it is the switch off of inspiratory activity. It inhibits the respiration by the directly inhibit the dorsal respiratory group of neurons, otherwise indirectly through the inhibiting the apneustic center. So pneumotaxic center stimulation shorten the inspiration and respiratory rate. So this diagram shows the experimental evidence of the lesions of the different level of the respiratory center. Okay. So if the lesion at the above the level of the pons, it produces a normal pattern of the respiration. With vagotomy, it means it only increases the volume of the tidal volume of the inspiration and expiration. Okay, so it increases the duration of the inspiration and expiration. At the level in between the pons, mid-pontine level lesion, it increases the inspiration and expiration, but the rhythmic pattern is maintained. Suppose the lesion with the vagotomy means it produces a prolonged inspiratory effort. Okay. Suppose the lesion is just above the medulla, it produces the normal respiration but irregular rhythm. So it gives the importance of the medulla is important for the respiration, and the pneumotaxic center is control the inspiratory effort, and pneumotaxic above the pontine level lesion produce a normal respiratory pattern. Genesis of respiration. The dorsal respiratory group of neurons discharges impulse rhythmically and spontaneously for about 2 to 3 seconds. The chest wall and lung expands, air enters, produces the inspiration. So inspiration is controlled by the dorsal respiratory group of neurons. Impulse from the lung stretch receptors during the inspiration via vagus or impulse from the pneumotaxic center arrest the discharge of the dorsal respiratory group of neurons. So the inspiration is stopped, the lung and chest is recoiled. Recoil means it shrinks, it produces the expiration. This cycle is repeated throughout the life. During each respiratory cycle, there is the reciprocal relation in the activity of the dorsal respiratory group of neurons and ventral respiratory group of neurons. Other influences on respiration. Pulmonary stretch receptors. The overinflation of the lung will stimulate the stretch receptors. It sends the impulse through vagus to the dorsal respiratory group of neurons and apneustic center. It inhibits the inspiration, it produces the expiration. It is called hearing prior inflation reflex. The over inflation is prevented by stretch receptor stimulated, send the impulse to the dorsal respiratory group of neuron and apneustic center. It will not occur in the normal people. The tidal volume is 500 ml means it will not occur. It's overinflation only it will activate it. The productive mechanism for preventing the excess lung inflation. Threshold for this reflex is 1 to 1.5 liter. Hearing prior deflation reflex. It is decrease in duration of the expiration produced by marked deflation of the lung. It is opposite effect of the hearing prior inflation reflex. The J receptor, otherwise called as a juxtapulmonary receptor, was first discovered by the A.S. Paindahl, Indian scientist. The present between the alveolar wall and the pulmonary capillary, that is juxtacapillary in the lung. The stimulated by the pulmonary edema, fluid present, excess fluid present between the capillary and alveolus, and exercise inhalation of the irritant gases produces the juxtapulmonary receptors. It produces the apnea followed by the rapid shallow breathing via vagus nerve. This is a productive mechanism against the pulmonary edema and other irritant gases. Other higher centers also control the respiration. Pain, emotional disturbances like fear, anxiety, anger act via hypothalamus and limbic system to stimulate the respiration. During the fever, high fever act via anterior hypothalamus, it produces the tachypnea, it increases the respiration. The active passive movement of the joint stimulate the position receptors, proprioceptor in the muscles, tendon or joints. So this stimulates the respiratory center to increases the respiratory rate and depth of the respiration. This is another one way of the increases the ventilation. The irritant receptors present in the respiratory tract, mainly dust and smoke. It produces a tachypnea, cough, sneeze. These are the productive mechanisms against the irritants. And afferents from the baroreceptor. Baroreceptor is stimulated by the high pressure. It inhibits the respirations. The chemoreceptor, the chemicals, mainly PCO2, increased level of the PCO2 sensed by the chemoreceptors. It increases the rate and depth of respiration. PCO2 and hypoxia, acidosis sensed by the chemoreceptors. Summary: the respiration is the mainly automatic. It is controlled by the medulla and pons. The medulla dorsal respiratory group of neurons control the inspiration, ventral respiratory group of neurons expiration. Both are reciprocal relationships. And the apneustic center, it increases the intensify the respiration, that is controlled by the pneumotaxic center through the vagus. Thank you for watching this video. If you like this video, share your friends. Thank you once again.